think what I want people to take away is that we can we can show different points of views of life, and everybody can relate to it in a way where it makes sense from this young Black girl's point of view.
And so I wanted to ask you this first. As Saturdays premieres on the Disney Channel on March 24th. Marseille, I know you have to be excited that the show is finally being released. How are you feeling right now?
I feel excited. I feel relieved that we are here. It has been a long time coming. I kind of remember the moments where we were just in the beginning stages of it. So looking back and reflecting on the work and the amazing thing that we built is absolutely surreal. So I'm excited. I'm hyped for the world to watch it, my audience to see it. And no, it's lots of fun.
Of course. Yeah, it's really a great show. I got a chance to watch the first 2 episodes and I really like it. And Norman, for you, you're also an executive producer and creator, and you're known for writing Roll Bounce, which is a very popular film. How is Saturday similar to Roll Bounce?
Well, I will say it's like Roll Bounce. It's just a coming of age. It's about kids, friendships. You're hanging with your friends on a Saturday and, you go on these adventures. That's what I did when I was a kid. And we just wanted to have a show where, we had these girls together and their friendships and showed them their growth, being with one another and showing the safe place of being at a skating rink. Because back in the day, skating rinks were kind of your safe place. You know what I mean? That where it's pretty neutral. You know what I mean? So you go there and, you get your first kiss there, you get your first couple skate there, so on and so forth. And, you build your friendships there. So this show does the exact same thing. So it's just important now that we can see it as a series as opposed to just a film. So.
Right. And Marseille, I want to ask you this. I know you wanted to do something focused on skating in the Black community because of how big it is. So what do you want viewers to take away from the show after watching it?
Ooh. Oh, that was a good show. I might need to watch it. I think what I want people to take away is that we can show different points of views of life, and everybody can relate to it in a way where it makes sense from this young Black girl's point of view. I feel like we've been so used to seeing it from a particular point of view all the time. So being able to see it in a different light, and I think showing the levels of it, like the skating culture, the family, the friendships in Chicago. There's so many levels to it. So I just think hopefully people just take away being able to relate, being able to feel comfort and watching this young Black girl grow and strive and achieve her goals.
And Norman, I want to ask you this. For a project like Saturdays, how did the whole process come about for you? Was it something that you always wanted to do after even writing Roll Bounce?
I mean, well, Roll Bounce was so many years ago, so maybe a little bit, but then Disney approached me, and based on that movie, which is great, they wanted to do a roller skating show. And so I was like, okay, so we had a couple of discussions about how we want to do it and what they would allow us to do. And so then I knew Marseille and her people. And so it just felt like a great team to come together and create something that was special. So, I think timing is everything, so maybe it didn't happen in 2006, but, 2023, it took that long to get to this point. And I think this is the best time for it because we have this amazing girl next to me who, has the eyeballs of so many young Black girls who they aspire to be like, you know what I mean? They could be inspired by. So I just think the timing was great. And just I know you didn't ask me this, but I would say the same thing. I think, when people watch this show, I think they're going to take some joy away from it. I think they're going to take feel like, I could smile, you know what I mean? It's not, I don't feel empty, you know what I mean? So I think that's really what we wanted to embody about the show.
Absolutely. And one last question before I let you two go. And this question is for both of you. Saturdays includes a very strong cast from the kids to the parents. So how is it working with such a talented cast?
Oh, they're so sweet and they're so nice and very outgoing. I enjoyed watching them film and be able to still hang out and still laugh after the cameras cut. And no, I enjoyed it. And I was familiar with most of the cast too. So being able to say that, I'm like, oh my God, Golden, she on a show of mine. Or, oh my God. Like being able to say that is really, really exciting. So no, I love them and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, same here. I think having those Golden and Omar as those vets to teach this young kind of green cast, the ropes, they brought them in and they fed them their energy. They showed them stuff that, they probably, because those girls were watching, they were watching every shot. So, I mean, that was just so special. And just to see how they came together, it was, I couldn't have asked for anything better.
What makes this show a must watch when it premieres?
Ooh, what makes this show a must watch? I think definitely the representation that we have, all the different characters and their funny personalities. I feel like everyone's going to find themselves in a specific character, in one character. And it's very funny. I think the show is hilarious. And just the skate culture, there's something so different and so special about Saturdays that I'm very excited for everyone to see. I mean, just the different cultures and the different, of course, our amazing actors bring it all together. And the chemistry that we all have is so amazing. And I can't wait for on March 24th for everyone to watch it.
This show, one thing I like about the show, it has an original concept. It always takes place on a Saturday. But why did you ultimately want to be part of the series?
Why did I want to be part of the series? This is really an important show. Like Danielle said, it shows representation in our voices and our story. I'm from Chicago. The show is based in Chicago. So it's like Simone can actually be me. I skated before the show, and this is like, the show is really close to my heart because this is home for me. It's showing where I'm from. It's showing girls just like me growing up. And it's showing a friendship and love and basically a family of girls who are going to be shown to the world and can inspire so many. So I just think that's amazing.
Yes. And just like Dari said, I feel like I've always wanted to inspire people that look like me, especially since we don't have a lot of representation out there. And I feel like Saturdays is perfect. Like, we are breaking stereotypes. We are showing different shades of brown. And it's just so beautiful and inclusive. And yeah, that's really why I wanted to be a part of it. It really spoke to me when I read the script. It was really hilarious. And I connected with Paris because we are very similar. So yeah, that's how I connected with it.
Your characters, Paris, Simone, and Ari, are the central focus of the show. So what's the best thing about playing your characters?
The best part about playing Ari is just, I like to think that acting it's always, a sense of me, but it's a part of me exaggerated, if that makes sense in a case, unless it's playing like a psychopath, then I'm not crazy. But but Ari, I feel like there is a side of me that is so bubbly and so energetic and so positive. And I love being able to play her all the time. I love being able to really dive deep into that mindset in my own personal life. So playing that side of Ari and just being happy and being in my own world and having a sense of confidence and having the sense that no matter what anybody thinks, I'm going to do what I want to do and what makes me happy. I really love that. And I think that that's a mindset that most people should have and that I should have more. I should have the confidence in myself that Ari has. So that's the best part about playing Ari.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I would say the best part about playing Simone is learning about a new culture for me. So Simone is bohemian chic. She's earthy, and she's all about her chakras, her gems, her crystals, and just being in touch with herself and nature and her spirituality. And I really got to learn a lot about chakras and what it means and crystals and everything like that while I was diving deep into the script. And now I can say, oh, okay, I understand that. So it broadens my perspective about what different people like, or what they, how they center themselves. So I can say, oh, I bought a little couple crystals too. So I like that.
For me, my favorite part about playing Paris was the sense of community that she has, and how Saturdays is her home. It's her home where her friends are, where her family is, where everyone on the rink knows her, loves her, and will always care for her. And I feel like that's such an important thing to show, that you can always find a sense of community somewhere. And maybe someone out there could be like, you know what? Maybe I'm going to go to a roller skating rink and I'm going to find that sense of community. Because I really love how skating really connects her with her family, with her friends, and everyone else. So that was my favorite part.
Saturday's premieres on the Disney Channel on March 24th. So why did you want to be a part of the show?
Well, initially, the writing drew me to it, when we get the sides, and then it's like you have a read, you meet the producers and so forth and so on, and it goes on and on from there. And I'm big on the writing, when my agent said, here's a project, why don't you read this and see what you think about it. It was the writing style that I'm accustomed to. I grew up, in the 90s sitcom era, being a part of it and watching it as well. So I'm like, oh, this falls right in line. I can do this. And I get to play the dad, which I am in real life. So I'm loving it.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, I have a 13-year-old. So she grew up watching Disney. So for me, being able to be part of that culture and be on a show that shows representation was huge for me. Norman's amazing. We've worked together before. And when I read it, I was like, this is really an intentional story about this family in Chicago. And the backdrop is skating, roller skating.
Hello.
Please say less.
Say less.
Say less. Yeah.
Well, yeah, as you guys mentioned, you played the parents, Cal and Deb Johnson. So what was the best thing about playing the parents on the show?
Well, it was fun. It was a lot of different aspects to it. We run a bakery business from home. So, we got to do real bakeries, real treats, I should say.
Yes.
We had real pastries that we were baking there. So had to watch our weight a lot on that show. But it was a lot of things. We have send that to my trailer. It was a lot of that going on. And we're fun parents, we're not like real stern. Yeah. Oh, what are you doing today? Yeah. Why are you home? Blah, blah, blah. No, we're just like, oh, they're going to learn, oh, you going to do that? Okay, we'll see you. Oh, but it's going to be fun. Let's see how this ends up by the end of the episode type of thing. So, but yeah, no, it was a no-brainer for me, but it was fun.
So much fun. I mean, they're flawed, and I think what's so beautiful about this story is that we all of the family, we all kind of poke at each other's sort of, funny mishaps. And I think that's the sort of what builds that camaraderie, and I feel like people are going to be able to connect with that, because it's not the cookie cutter, no pun intended, family that does everything by the book. And I feel like it's beautiful to watch them sort of navigate through some of those trials and tribulations. And, sometimes they don't succeed, but then, Cal and Deb sometimes come up and clean the mess, or we're not a told you so kind of parent, couple duo, but we are like, now play that back for me again.
Right.
Say that with that. And I think that's beautiful. I mean, that's real. And I think that's the comedy of it all.
Yeah.
And the real of it all. I think it's a beautiful duality of the two.
Absolutely. And this is another question for both of you. Omar, you mentioned about the writing, how that you were drawn to that. And I think one of the things that stand out with this show is it always takes place on a Saturday. It doesn't take place on any day of the week. So what was your guys' reaction when you learned that the show was going to be based on just Saturday?
No, it's fun. So you don't have to worry about, you got to go to work, even though we work from home anyway. But, the kids have school and then so forth and so on. And it was just, this is our day off. We're either going to be getting ready for a catering event, which is fun. Yeah. But we're always there. We're always present. It's not like, oh, mom, dad are off doing something else, but we're here. We didn't get to go to the skating rink all the time.
Right.
But we did have our moments there, which was just fun to see that. And I can't wait for you guys to see the authentic skating in this show.
Oh, it's so good. And I think when kids would watch it, there's no talk of school or things like that. It's really, it's not fantasy, but it really is sort of what happens on Saturday. And I think there's something very unique. And I love that Norm really, I mean, it was very intentional. And I think there's something really fun about that, because when you think of the word and the day Saturday, you think of fun day.
Right.
So it's great that all these things happen on Saturday.
The show called Monday would just be depressing.
It was so depressing.
Yeah, absolutely right. That would be very depressing. One last question before I let you guys go is one of the things about Dev and Cal is they're skating legends in Chicago. So how good are you guys skating wise? Were you as good as Cal and Dev?
Whoa, take it easy. Take it.
That
was that's a lot.
We had training. I'm okay. I'm not amazing. I'm good for someone who skated like in the 80s and the 90s. But I mean, we definitely had a great team of people.
Yeah. But I didn't know what skating was until after this show.
The JB style of skating, which originated in Chicago, we're learning that. It's a lot of footwork. It's very intricate. And let me tell you, the Chicagoans, they will let you know about it if you're not doing it. Because everybody skates. And this particular style, it's very unique.
Yeah.
And so I mean, we definitely put in the work.
Yeah, we logged our hours, and we had our custom boots, and to go soak our feet and all that, and then joints, and then then knee pads and elbow pads. I had more than you had. Trust me, I had a lot of strap on. Is he ready yet? In a minute. I'm still getting ready.
The setup took longer than the rehearsal.
Exactly. But we got it done, and we pulled it off.
All right, that's all that matters. Well, Omar Gooding, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Saturday's premieres on the Disney Channel on March 24th. It looks like a great show. It's going to be a great show. But what made you want to be part of this series?
One. Hey, you come with heat. Off rip, knowing who was making the show. When I found out Norman Vance Jr. was writing it, and he was going to be executive producer to it, I was like, man, this is wild. If you didn't know, like most people who don't, people who know, Norman created Roll Bounce and other classics, in our community. And these are things that like we all grew up on. Like, man, watching this, one made me want to go to the 70s real bad, and two, I want to skate. So that was one of the few things, or one of the key things that I know for sure drew me into the story. And then two, just the story in general of how good it is. I was like, man, this sounds like it. It's going to be some heat. This doesn't sound like any other Disney project I've ever seen. So just knowing how authentic it sounded and just genuine in its storytelling that it sounded, I was hooked.
I just knew it was going to be awesome. That was like reading the script, this story, who was attached or who is attached, Norman Vance Jr., Marseille, the whole cast, everybody. I was like, I got to be a part. And it was just such a blessing, like being on set with these amazing creatives and learning from them and laughing and having fun with them, So just the whole experience was the thing.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. And for you two play London Johnson and Derek, also known as D-Rock. What's the best thing about playing your characters?
Oh, the best thing that I can say is the brotherhood.
Yeah.
I love the brotherhood that shows through our characters and throughout the show, how consistent it is, and the stuff that they go through. And another thing that I love about it is seeing their dynamic and how we interact with the characters of the Johnson family and friends. And that's one of the joys I get to see of it. Also, them being musicians, I got to tap into something I never delved into before, was just music. I'm not a musician. He's used to that, not me. But it was cool because we feel like we got to learn something, like we actually got to learn a new skill, like learn history about certain things as far as the music in the skate community. Those were some of the few cool blessings that we got to have with these characters.
With Derek, he's MC. I'm not MC. So I was tapping into something different with that. And also, like he said, the brotherhood. I'm that type of, like Derek's the type of character, he's going to be over the house, being like, hey, what's up, y'all? Look, what we watching? Oh, your mom made some food? Okay.
Don't pay no bills.
I'm hungry.
Like, it's over here all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Always over at the house, and we always in the studio. We call it the lab.
Yep.
Always making music and everything like that. So it's cool to have two brothers that have a dream and similar goal to blow up within their music and just to have each other's back with everything. So yeah, it's fun.
You know, you guys mentioned a little bit about who's attached to the project, specifically Marsai Martin. She's just been a force for the last, seems like it'd be 10 years. She's an executive producer. So how was it working with her on the show?
It was awesome. Knowing that she was so dedicated to making sure that we got the vision right. Knowing also like the stuff that she is doing outside of the show is also great, and it influenced us to just even work harder. Her entire team has been awesome, completely hands-on with the show, and it was a blessing even having them come by also in Chicago with us, stop by, and it was super cool. I think I had to get him. He was in his trailer when she was here. I was like, man, Marsai here, bro, you gotta come out, man.
I'll be taking that.
Yeah, he was asleep. He was asleep. Like,
I was like, oh hey y'all, what's going on?
Knocked out.
I was knocked out. But yeah,
before she was here for a smooth hour before. I was like, wait a minute. It's Tim? Where is Tim?
I was like, bro, I was off in dreamland, man.
Well, yeah.
Marsai and our family, they're awesome. Meeting them and just being around them, like he said, like the dedication that they have to the show and the energy that they bring. You know, it made things, you know, it solidified things even more, I guess.
Yeah.
It was like, man, they like it. They like what we're doing, you know? So it kind of just, you know, brought that even more confidence to what we were doing. So they're awesome.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, Jermaine and Tim, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. Congratulations on the show and continued success to both of you.